So this morning I went to my Facebook feed and I noticed a whole bunch of love and understanding and tolerance, and then I woke the hell up. So a lot of people seem to be at each other's throats lately, and it doesn't take much to notice that a source of a lot of contention is the fact that people universalize their own experience as truth, consequently blinding them to the experiences of other people. In other words, if something doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Do you know how many arguments would not exist if people didn't invalidate the experiences of other people simply because they don't experience them? And one innocuous example for me personally was when I made the video, I am Jamaican for crying out loud. If you haven't seen it, I essentially poke fun at the fact that I am generally mistaken for everything but Jamaican, precisely because many people outside of the islands are unaware that there are many ethnic groups there. So someone took the video and posted it on Facebook, without my consent, and the video took off there. There were so many comments of people thinking that it was funny because they could relate to it. There was also this little group of naysayers who were saying things like, "Oh, this doesn't happen, she's just doing this for attention." Which honestly, it didn't bother me much, but it got me thinking. Seriously, this is something that occurs to me on pretty much a daily basis. Almost every single time I tell people I'm Jamaican, I am met with some degree of disbelief. Some people outright telling me that I'm lying because I don't fit their stereotype of what a Jamaican is. Anyway, I was pretty much amazed at the audacity of these people telling me that I don't experience something that I experience on a constant basis. Another thing I'm here thinking is that, Jesus have mercy, I'm trying to dispel stereotypes about your country and you have a problem with that. What the hell? Anyway, this little group of people were pretty persistent in saying that this is just fake, this doesn't happen. The weird thing about it is that this is happening in a sea of people who are saying how much they can identify with the video. And of course, if you yourself exemplify the very expectations of people, of course you're not going to have the same experience as someone who doesn't. Honestly, it didn't really bother me much at the time, but it did bother some other people, including a personal friend of mine who is Indian Jamaican, and they just straight up got into an argument. I'm here wondering why my friend is just wasting his energy. And it really reminded me of the fact that no matter what you do, there are going to be people who are complaining about it. Really. So this was an example of a certain type of egocentrism that we all have to some degree, that if something is normal for us, it's normal for everyone else, which is simply not true. We have vastly different experiences based on who we are, what our past was like, what our mindset is like, how our individual wiring is like. And all these different factors shape our individual views of the world. There's one particular point in my life, or rather a particular part of my nature, that I used to assume was natural for everyone else around me. And it took me a really long time to realize that I was the odd one out. This colored the way I saw the world in a particular way that I actually viewed the norm as the aberration to the norm. And that was because my particular lifestyle supported that mindset, and I chose people in my life which continuously reinforced this as normal. It was one of those wake-up calls that made me realize that my own reality was vastly different from the reality of most people around me. And oh my God, if you knew what it was, you'd probably think I'm the most naive person ever. I think it's very important for each and every one of us to realize that just because we don't see something, we are not exposed to something, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist for millions of other people. I remember the first time I brought my father to an anime convention, and he was absolutely amazed at the magnitude of people that were attending this event. All this time he basically thought that it was just a weird quirk of mine and that I was just one of the very few people who enjoyed this type of thing. I recall watching a TED Talk of a woman who went through FGM, thinking that it was a normal practice for everyone until she moved to the United States or Canada. I forgot where she moved to, and she was even amazed that people were considering it barbaric in the West. She thought it was universally normal and accepted because it was something that was normal for her. Anyway, as you are watching any videos, what the Ross? Anyway, as you are watching this video, can you think of a time when someone else invalidated something that you went through or you experienced just because they didn't? Comment below because I would really like to hear those stories. I really do believe that we should take more time to understand that just because we might not see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and that our individual experiences are not the end-all be-all of the human experience.